Yalla, yalla, breaker 19, shortage on rhymes. MCs, grab your nines and shoot first as we're about to light the fuse and blow them caps back. It's the AEW Dynamite review here, youtube.com, Ben Hamin, channel official right now, Infidels, as it's a new day, a new chapter, and we're turning the page. We'll see if Sil runs in here soon. Yalla! Yeah, MSG heals up, baby. And getting
what's up?
What's up? Banging on them, banging on them.
We can get with this, you can get with that. You better get with this Hamin Media Group because this is where it's at. What's up? Right. We're back.
That's right, man. Big in a big way. In a big way this week, dude. Stevie Ray TV on and popping. You're dropping some new videos over there. I saw with plenty of movie stars and people who've worked on countless, films that people love, from Idiocracy to Punisher series, Christmas Story, all that stuff, man. You're in the cut right now, production style. How's it going, man?
It's going well. That's, as you pointed out, brand new content on patreon.com/StevieRayTV. But we, of course, are joined each and every week by the star of this show. He is the Don of the show, the Don Silvio. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to his own show. Vince Russo's no longer reviewing AEW, so uncontested, the #1 AEW review show ever. Chris Silvio, welcome back, sir.
Man, we ran that guy out of town.
Award-winning AEW Dynamite review show.
Award-winning. Hey, you do look a little bit cut over there. I mean, it looks like you got a little bit more tone and definition to you.
I'm working hard, man. Thank you.
Vitamin D over there, getting a little sunshine, I see.
Well, I mean, I got a little bit in the stand-up, Tanner. I got to go out and blow off the snow that just got here, but I've been heavy on that B12, that regiment. I put on 19 pounds of muscle in 3 weeks. So,
interesting quote, huh?
The line of the night, and we'll get to it, man. But good to see you. I'm glad you got out of jail after being found guilty of being sexy and charged with that. So I know you can beat that rap, man. But good to have back, Sil. It's been a good time. Well, I was gonna send you here. I don't know if you saw it. I was gonna say award-winning. You're kind of a little bit more disconnected from social media than the rest, but if you've seen the Hamin Awards, there's 3D printing has started on them. So, shout out to our own Larry H, the great Law E, if you want to, LAWEE, the great Law E, I'm sure. But man, we talked 3D printing, and he came up with that, man, for such an awesome time. But still, I don't know if you're available for tomorrow afternoon, Friday around 4, if you want to, because Producers Court is supposedly going down tomorrow to finally solve and see who the producer of the year at Hamin Media Group is. It's been contested. There's been appeals and injunctions and filibusters and adjudications and testimonies, and now we're going to try and finally get this solved.
Yeah, I'm down to solve a good mystery or a good caper. You know how I roll.
Yeah, well, it's Producers Court, Hamin Media Group style.
Ding dong.
I mean, dun dun.
Will this be available to the public for consumption?
Yeah, I think we're going to go live with it. Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope you guys have fun. As I mentioned this morning, I'll be working, so it's kind of convenient you decided to do Producers Court without me. But have fun. Yeah, I'll be.
Sure, you'll be working. Well, you can be. Yeah, I don't think the Chuck might not be there either, so maybe it'll get pushed. We'll see. These things are last minute, and
Maddie, I'll defend you. Don't worry.
If Silvio's defending me, I'm in good hands.
Yeah, well, I mean, but then what happens when Big Sal steps in and the whole game changes, man? I mean, there's just an infinite amount of it might be, you don't want to say anything in your own defense trial anyway. You just want to sit there and shut up and let the lawyers do the talking anyway. So maybe we'll just have persona non grata there anyway. And Chuck don't say shit. So
you just got to watch out for those horseman guys, Matt.
Yeah, it's all It's all a conspiracy. It's all a conspiracy against us all, but we got to rip through this because I got so much on the docket today, Sil, that we have to get through. Not just we have other court sessions, other charges to hold people guilty for. So let's get right to it. I want to punch in and punch out because I got to move some snow, and then I've got meetings all night long, and then I got to edit the Horsemen and the Friday locker room. So big night ahead. Boys.
All right, well, let's start with AEW's numbers. Of course, it was advertised for this episode that it was -1's birthday. So John Moxley was in action tonight. Layla Hirsch took on Penelope Ford, and in a 6-man tag team action, we'll have Matt Hardy and Private Party against Matt Sydal and Top Flight. Last week's broadcast, AEW Dynamite garnered 762,000 views against NXT's 550,000. Over the last 5 weeks, 762,000 on January the 13th, 662,000 on January the 6th, and then December the 30th, that being the 977,000, the Brody Lee tribute show. Their only key competition tonight really was just NXT, as there wasn't really much else going on. The inauguration had already been done earlier in the day, so I don't really want to count national news. As at that point, you have to think people who were the ones, excited, they were already out there celebrating. So AEW Dynamite YouTube viewers last Wednesday, though, was at 2.3 million views. That was down from 4 million. The most viewed video was Brian Cage and Darby Allin, which had 700,000 views. Least viewed video was FTR versus Jurassic Express. That had 112,000 views. The overall average, though, was 203,000. So any comments, questions before we get into the results of the show, gentlemen?
Yeah, I'm not sure what time it dropped, but Biden did the executive orders last night somewhere around the evening, so that there could have been people tuning into that. And they'll cut that 20 minutes. They'll spend 5 hours covering the 15 executive orders he signed off on. What was the deal in the previous weeks? Because we saw that dramatic drop off from 9 to 7. I know the insurrection was one. But what else would have been happening like last week or even the week prior to have?
Nothing else. It was just that was the big number they had after the tribute show, and then it kind of just fell off. Really,
they were close to 1 week though, right? Like not the Brody Lee show, but they had a 995.
The night Sting came back. He came back. That was
they blew the first one. They blew the Mystique in 2 weeks.
I think it was the beginning. I think it was like December. It would have been the beginning of December, because in the following week they had 806,000, followed by 775,000. So there was this drop off.
So couldn't whack out 1 million, and still competing against developmental, which is drawing 500,000. What do you expect them to do? Like, that's almost a win to draw them down. But AEW acts like they're going over strong on WWE. We talked about this in the locker room. I want to get your guys' opinion on it. Is why aren't you going head to head with Raw? Because Raw is already in a bad way right now. And if you could draw Raw down from 1.7 million, which is abysmal already, to 1.2, just in those first 2 weeks alone, it's going to be off to the races, man. And we can start doing some serious terror attacks on shit. And there's the war could be on back and forth. Then you can use NXT as a terrorist organization to get all the shit in on AEW that you don't want to, that you want to, but you're not, because you're playing by the rules. Like, everybody's just kind of limping in when AEW could be over 1 million, and drawing Raw down 500,000 seems like a way smarter strategy. But Khan said that he doesn't want to go against the Monday Night Football when the Titans could possibly be on. And I'm thinking to myself, that's the craziest shit, because why wouldn't you want to show those brands where have Titans night on Monday, where even Jaguars. Jaguars. If you're doing picture in picture, or everybody's got a football themed thing, you know what I mean? Like, put it all over, dude. Like, show brand across everything. Even do a thing for Fulham? I don't know, Cheshire, Quinton's town, whatever other town he owns there. Like, I
have no idea what any of those words you said mean.
Yeah, there's a soccer team, I think they're called. why not show it across the board that way? It's a way stronger look because then you're directly plugged into what the Vince doesn't have. The NFL, all he's got is Gronk and fucking Mojo. Like, you know, let's really show it. And what he really has in the NFL is Fox, and they don't even use their guys properly, like we talked about on Russo, Roman Reigns. And you got Goldberg, guys who played in the NFL, dude. You know what I mean? They're not using any of them, or even what's his name, Titus O'Neil, dude. Like, come on, bro. Like, they're not using the pieces to really shape it out here. And I think it's a big mistake staying on Wednesday night for Khan. They could be over 1 million. What's the deal?
With the whole Monday Night Football, I mean, how many games could Jacksonville possibly play in a season on Monday night? I think 1, maybe 2 tops. So it would be him competing against NFL, not necessarily the Jaguars. So I don't really see an issue with that. What I think it is they're just half dipping their toe in the pool. They know that if they go to Mondays, they got to go full tilt. And they know Vince has a lot of resources. So the question is, are they willing to invest? Because they're not attacking. You saw the way Bischoff attacked. He was giving away results. He was throwing belts. Bischoff made no bones about what he was trying to do. AEW's done subtle digs and cutesy little things, but they haven't went all out. I agree with you. I think if they did move to Mondays, we would see a ratings drop, and we could possibly see a big turnaround for AEW and get them really competitive. I just think they're afraid. It's like the thing where you've been with a girl for a few years and you're like, oh, do we get married? Do we go our separate ways? Like, I think they're on that stage yet where they don't know if they're willing to commit all the way.
I say you got to commit to the bit, right? You can't be half in, half out. And if people are like, oh, you can't have your focus split, well, then let's put it all in one thing and make it all one focus. It's just a wider scope. But instead of trying to chop it up, the answer might be crossover and run over. To shine your brand, you're going to look better. Vince looks shitty because he had to start his own football thing that failed twice, once because of COVID. But still, it's like you're still not in with the NFL, but the Khans are in. When it comes to deep pockets, Big Daddy Khan's got deeper pockets than Vince does. He might not have Saudi Arabia money backing him, but, you know, I can make that happen. Go ahead. What are you thinking about that, MSG?
I mean, it's interesting. I think that AEW probably has to look at what's currently working for them. They're not building on their own audience or having, I guess, a consistent number week after week. So does it benefit them to jump to another night? Potentially to garner new audience for sure. But overall, we have seen in the past with WWE's history when TNA tried to jump the first time, even though TNA still got a 2.2, WWE was still able to fire back and, over the course of those couple of months, essentially dwindle that opportunity for TNA to stay on Monday night. So I think if AEW is going to go head to head with WWE, they got to at least be getting similar numbers, right? They should be at least getting 1.5 to 1.7.
700,000 difference.
They've got the people. The thing is, it's already, the cable network is already there, so it's not like the people can access the channel. Right. It's got to get people to watch the show. I mean, I don't know.
You do this with it. Let me ask you this: you keep Wednesday, and you move to Monday, and that's Dynamite, but dark.
Keep the second show. I was thinking the same thing too. Actually, like they talked about that second show.
So it's developmental kind of versus developmental at that point, because if you move off that property, sure, Wednesday night's open, and then you're NXT could be up to 1 million, and you don't want that. So what do you have to do to leverage? You have to leave some troops behind there just to draw off the numbers while you're going to fight this war. You know what I mean? So, and you can use that Wednesday show to replay highlights from what happened on Monday. So is a war strategy. I just think it's a way stronger move right now. Their enemies weekend. They need to make that move. They've had to deal with everything with Brody, and obviously what they spent time with this week shows that there's a lot more compassion than people would like to recognize sometimes. So
if they were to go head to head on Monday, and I know that Raw starts at 8 Eastern, should AEW start at 7? Should they give themselves?
I think they should only go 2 hours. No, I think they should go 2 hours head to head, 8 to 10, because Raw's fall off is already at 10 to 11 o'clock. So they're only going to get back the people they would have lost, and they're already going to have the drawdown. So they're already going to be, if you get them down to a 1.2, by the time third hour rolls around, they might be at a 1.0, and then they'll get it back 200,000 or 300,000 people switching over, but still they're never going to really go back up and whatnot. And they'll use that third hour of gaining the fall off of 300,000 to go to USA and be like, see, our third hour is red hot. It went up 300,000 after they tore us down 800,000. They juke the numbers any way they want. So I just think it's you want to talk best for biz, man. I think that's best for biz.
I'd like to see it. Have you guys been watching NXT?
No, thankfully we got the Vet and Surge over there working on that now with Colin, and I'm watching Impact and everything else pretty much.
I've always spoken highly of NXT, as you guys know. I was just curious to know your opinion. If you guys don't watch it and listeners want to comment in, I feel like there's been kind of a shift in the NXT programming. The last few shows I've watched have just seemed a little odd to me, a little bit more of the traditional WWE direction than the things that made NXT stand out. So I was just wondering if it's just me or if you guys have noticed that too. So listeners, if you picked up on that vibe, hit us up and let me know.
They got that fight pit thing. That's pretty different, right? Mm-hmm. Like they got a lot of fucking smash mouth people over there, and you still got Killer Cross, and I don't know, I haven't watched Johnny Wrestling and whatnot, what he's doing. I know he's doing like a heel little faction or something there, but that was just like I caught a glimpse of that. I'm not really up on it week to week. So I mean, the talent's there's no doubt about that. It's just about highlighting people the right way. Is jumping off the top of a cage with a garbage can on your head the best way to do things?
Depends on the situation. Maybe like, 21st birthday party or, something like that.
Yeah, I get you. But yeah, man, there's opportunity to challenge each other, and that's only going to increase creative, and we don't really have that going on right now. We don't have the what could be that way to spark people.
Spark we need, man.
Yeah, spark one up, light the fuse, light the blunt, light the spliff, whatever you got to do to get through the day, man. Because UFC is allowing it. Maybe we'll see Riddle back in UFC. I was thinking of this, as I know I'm prolonging the show and I wanted to go faster. Hager versus Riddle, possibility in Bellator, possibility in UFC. Riddle going back to UFC, I don't know. There's possibilities there too. I'd like to see it.
With the weights, it'd be an odd matchup. I'll throw it out there. I'd like to see one of my very own talents in the making. I'd like to see Bulletproof Troop against Hager. They're both heavyweights. I think that'd be hell.
Troop would be. I think Troop could get him. I mean, I've seen Hager up close. We've chained and all that, and he's a bad motherfucker. There's no doubt about it. Born to wrestle. But I look at a guy's build, and he's so big upper body, but his legs are very thin. There's just not some guys, they're not tiny by any means. Yeah. But the way Troop is built, it should be easy for him to get the takedown, and then once it's there. Yeah. So that would be a great fight after GGP beats Troop. His comeback can be against Hager, and then he can go over on Hager and then be rebuilt right out of the gate. So it all works out.
Did you guys notice any audio issues last night watching Dynamite? I don't know if it was just my feed, but it seemed like some of the mics were off or lowered at certain points. Did you guys catch any?
I don't think so. I didn't catch any of that, no.
Strange.
But I was watching a weird feed too.
You were watching that Super Kayfabe Deluxe link.
I was just watching Watch Wrestling Uno, and I watched part live, and then I watched the other half after. I watched the first half after I watched the live part.
So before we get into Dynamite, I do have some emails and some parody songs that we can either do now or later. What would you like to do, gentlemen?
I mean,
go for it. You got 3 minutes. Get it.
All right. Well, I'll try to read these as fast as I can then. So,
well, you can save some.
Just save.
well, let me. All right. Well, I'll save John Enright. I'll save yours, and we'll do cousin Marky Mark since he's our #1 fan. So he sent us a email. It says, "Greetings, the Champion Review podcast, produced by the producer of the year. Thank you. Who has a future award-winning podcast based on the best show on television. Of course, that's us. What are your thoughts on a possible stable with Matt Sydal and Top Flight? The pairing with Hardy/Private Party seems to be doing good for that trio. And I think having a pro like Sydal watching over and coaching a young team like Top Flight would be good for them. A similar pairing worked good for the Hardys, Edge and Christian, with Michael Hayes, a la Gangrel and WWE. And I think this dynamic would be successful as well. And then he did attach a song, which I can sing. But what do you guys think, first off, about Matt Sydal and Top Flight, since that's technically relevant to the match tonight?
I beg to differ on the Michael Hayes and Hardys. They probably gained some backstage knowledge, but I did not like the on-screen presentation of that as a child or looking back now. Sydal and Top Flight, yes, they fit very well together.
All right. Ben, do you have any quick thoughts? You want to wait till we get to that match?
I like Sydal and Top Flight together too as a mentor type thing where they're not doing that the right way in WWE with Gable, Otis, and like all that bullshit. But here it is where these guys can, and I agree. I was never a Michael Hayes fan. He had like that Freebird stuff, just looked trailer park.
I like the Freebird stuff. I didn't like the Michael Hayes with the Hardys.
I didn't like that, and so that I definitely wasn't going to like Michael Hayes with the Hardys. Is my point. So that's their cup of tea. I'm not trying. Dude, Michael Hayes drew a lot more money than I fucking drew. So that's that. So I can eat all my words, but that shit just isn't me. That's what I hated about the 80s. That feeling of like 30 to 40-year-old guys trying to hang on to being cool. It was just like, give me some hip hop and get me the fuck out of here.
Even like a white blonde-haired man with
all that shit, everybody in fucking leotards
and moonwalking.
Fuck all that, bro. Give me some big pain, some fat boys, and I'm done with this shit. Tell me when it's over with.
Well, I'm not going to painfully put myself through singing this song. This is by cousin Marky Mark. He's parodying Chris Jericho's song, and it's called Nudist. I'm a self-made millionaire, someone with giant manly grapefruits, and I'll break you down and bury you. I am king. I'm the chairman of the board, and I sold my soul long ago with the supersized ego. I'm the higher power forever company. I'll never hand it down to all my kids. I become and then walking nude, yeah. Walking nude,
yeah.
Nudist in
nudist in my mind.
There's a lot more. Like
there isn't anymore. We hit the joke. That's all.
There's a lot more.
Call me, hey, Deuce, hey. Yeah.
They call me Vince McMahon. Here, I can't sing in Vince McMahon's voice, so this would be a song for you to sing.
Call me. Yes, they call me Vince McMahon.
All right, anyways, so that was cousin Marky Mark. Thanks for sending that over. It's a really long one. He went really in depth. He recorded a song. Like he recorded him singing to it as well. He went all out on this one.
We got to hear that at some portion. Maybe on the back end.
We just might have to play that. But then John Enright did the same thing. You guys need to fucking look up some new songs. Okay, I don't need to sing the same fucking Judas song again from Chris Jericho. This one goes, you are beautiful on the inside. You are inside. No, I'm not going to fucking sing it all. You guys get it.
Time's up, you guys. We'll come back and Matt will sing all these later.
And this one is called A Nudist and a Nudist in My Life. Did you guys all just listen to Master Shoot Theater this week? Think of one fucking idea and send it in. Come on, be more unique. Come on, guys.
Yeah. We did bring up nudists last week on Light the Fuse.
I guess. Light the Fuse, hmg@gmail.com. try to come up with something unique. It doesn't have to be wrestling songs. You can just make me sing any type of song. I really don't want to sing wrestling songs. Now I'm going to get more of those.
He loves singing wrestling songs.
So the show begins. The show AEW
the
begins
big lie. Matt doesn't like singing wrestling songs.
Yeah, Matt doesn't like being looked at.
Oh, great. The show begins with the Dark Order coming out to celebrate Negative One's birthday. They have a birthday cake on the entranceway. John Silver asks the crowd to sing happy birthday. They sing it. Then Luther and Serpentico come out to cut a promo and says that AEW is turning into a daycare, which I like that line. Luther says the Chaos Project is not like children. They're going to ruin his birthday. This is totally a Ben Hamin move. The Dark Order starts battling with Chaos Project and Hybrid 2 before the bell rings. Then they're kind of all over the place until Adam Page comes out, and then he just kind of just jumps into the side of the stage where all the guys are standing there. I hope that you saw that coming because he flew down to the ring. And then the match started. Chaos Project and Hybrid 2 versus Adam Page and the Dark Order. John Silver and Alex Reynolds. Colt Cabana as well, partners. I kind of thought the Dark Order was going to win, and they did. The Dark Order and Adam Page eventually pick up a victory with Adam Page hitting the buckshot lariat, and then Alex Reynolds doing the jackknife to get the pin. Interestingly enough, though, afterwards, we'll get right to there. They asked Adam Hangman Page to join, and he says no. He does not join them. They even did like a whole where they thought he was going to say yes, and they threw off the balloons and the fireworks go off. And there's a big thing on the Titantron says, he said yes! And then everyone's coming out to dance, and they have to wave them off. That was funny. But yes, Adam Page and the Dark Order win. However, Adam Page declines the invite for now to join the Dark Order. Chris Silvio, break it down for us a little bit more and what your thoughts were.
Man, I got to go a little Randy Jackson on this one. And
oh, man.
I don't know how much I was feeling that one, dog.
Really, dog?
The Page dive was cool when he jumped off the stage onto everyone. And the bit at the end was hilarious when they had he said, yes, come up. And it looked like they even had a few mariachi guys try to rush the stage, and Grayson and Uno are pushing them back. That was pretty good. Silver delivered on his promo of being like a starstruck, nerdy kind of teenager-esque character. That was good. It seemed to me like the concept of it all, that's something like that we would do at like a house show, or something that you do off the air. I love the fact that they're honoring Brody the way they are, and they're taking care of the family and highlighting the kid and stuff like that. I would probably have them do it in maybe a backstage segment in some capacity. It's a little bit more condensed. Luther comes in and talks some shit. Then it's at the conclusion of the match, Luther's face goes in the cake. We do the Page business. It seemed like something that would be more on an indie show or a non-televised event than the opening segment of national TV. What do you think, Hamin?
Yeah, I would usually go in on this, man, but I don't know. I found myself having a little bit of a out-of-body experience and being like, you know what, at this point, wherever wrestling is, let this kid have his birthday party show on the front end of a fucking show, and then we'll get on with the rest of it. You know what I mean?
I can't hate on it because they're doing something nice.
It was the best thing Luther's done since he's been on camera. So, but Luther was scared to take the fucking face bump on the cake. Are you kidding me, bro? Just fucking take the face bump on the cake. He had to put cake on his face. Maybe they read there, he knew something else was in that cake. Who knows? That it popped me, and the kid with the kendo stick shot and saying his lines, "You dumb bastards, my birthday was 3 days ago," and he hits him with the papers, right?
The papers was the highlight of that.
Exactly. So I popped on that, and it's the kid, and the little brother's dressed as a ref, and mom's there. And there's a bigger picture in this world, ladies and gentlemen, than fucking phony wrestling and wrestling storylines. And I'll leave it at that. And usually I'm the one who toes that line of, how dare you fucking out? No, I'm going to shut the fuck up and say, happy birthday, buddy. I hope you had a good day.
Well, revamped wrestling. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to say revamped wrestling 2K. You can get this shirt at prowrestlingtees.com/Ben Hamin. Yalla.
Right. Heels over strong. We'll see on the comeback.
Hey, and it looks like they're going the direction that I projected they would go. That Dark Order's going straight comedy.
Yeah, the thing with I didn't like in the finish. You want to get nitpicky on the match. The fucking buckshot lariat was so dope to follow it up afterwards. Didn't do it no service. That should have been it right there, right?
Yeah, but that was the business. They've been asking him for weeks.
I get it. But like that, I wanted that. And dude, the comedy of pushing the band back, I was very impressed with that as a comedy writer. That's because they could have easily have done that. And let's say he said yes and marched the band out and it would have looked funny enough. But like the fact that you had it ready to go and it got killed, that's a higher level joke, dude. And that's a sight gag, not to like for fanfare if it went off, to show that it was going off and kill it. That's heightening and exploring to the fucking next level. I was pretty impressed by that. I like all the stuff on the front end that people were like, they're doing something for the kid's birthday. I really got to watch the kid again? Like all the assholes in the fucking every chat room is, you know, that to finish that scene up here was very interesting to me. I'd like to know who made that choice. If maybe it was Jericho, but that was good.
I liked it. Yeah, I liked it too. Well, the commentators then sent it backstage.
Don't forget, you got Colt, great comedy mind. Colt.
Yes, absolutely. And to be honest with you, I'm wrong. It was Colt. It was Colt. Definitely fucking came up with that. That's fucking good. That's good.
You know what also is good is thebrosters.com. They've got this great coffee. It's called Russo Bro coffee. Guys, you should check it out. Brosters.com. Use the code 5LB. You can save some money on a 5-pound bag of Russo Bro coffee. Russo Bro. I mean, bro, you're going to want this coffee. Apparently, I'm now the young boy version of Vince Russo. I'm not sure what that
means. Me neither.
Yeah. I mean, does that mean
I'm a little mad at him?
Does that mean I'm Vince Russo like when he was the young boy for like, you know, Jim Ross and like, you know, Bobby the Brain Heenan? And because I mean, I'll take that job. That sounds like a great young Vince Russo for sure. If you're saying I'm like the young boy, like on Vince Russo show, yeah, maybe a couple years ago. I think I've earned myself regular guy now. So,
young man.
Young man, thank you. I appreciate it.
By the way, Russo still has not sent any Broster sample my way, and I have a feeling it has something to do with us unseating him as the AEW review podcast.
We drove him. We drove him out. That was it.
I never had any problem with the man. You know, I showed him nothing but kindness. I mean, we had a better show. It's not, you know, I didn't do it on purpose. It's what we did.
It was somebody told me. And this is unconfirmed. I don't know who it is. They might have, you know, edited some of your clips together, sent them over to Vince Russo, and he may not like you. And this wasn't me, of course. I hold you in high regard. I'm just saying in general, somebody did this. So maybe that's fine. I don't know.
I think Vince and I should settle this score once and for all in a friendly debate. Debate. I'm available. He's a bro. I'm a guy.
You better hurry up because he's going to be done with watching wrestling in a week. Everything except for Raw, he says. That's all he has to do is for Sports Skeeta.
Well, good. I've been done with watching wrestling for years.
Well, I mean, you never know. Well, he might need a co-host with Just Incredible over there to do the.
He's already got one, and it's the Pause guys. They're two-man power trip.
Well, there you go. But it doesn't mean there's not room for Silvio or you or anybody on other stuff.
Well, Silvio is staying on the AEW show with us. Stop trying to give him away.
Maybe offering the master debate. That's all.
Yeah, all right.
All right. Well, the commentators then sent it backstage to Alex Marvez. Marvez is interviewing Chris Jericho, MJF. MJF was very, I thought, calm in his promo, whereas Chris Jericho was turned up a little bit, right? You have MJF talking, but do we really want to do this? Is this really going to be good for the team, Chris? And then Jericho, of course, it's going to be good for the team. It's going to be great. You know, it goes into his little spiel and ends with Jericho convincing MJF, you know, and we got to do this. So they're just a nice little promo just to hype up the main event for the night. That's all.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, good give and take. That's not always easy to do to make it look real, man, to pass the mic that way. And they're doing it really well between guys. MJF does awesome with the fucking Latino stuff to put that over. That makes me laugh.
SA. What up, homeboy?
That's one of the changes I've noticed that's gotten more progressive in NXT that I referenced earlier. Like a promo like this stands out so much from NXT because it's not this contrived forever dialogue. The NXT promos aren't as contrived as say Raw or SmackDowns can be, but when you got guys like Jericho and MJF just going out and talking in a sensical manner in which normal people speak to one another, it really stands out. So I'd like to kind of see NXT maybe take a little bit of that lead.
Well, I mean, let me Barry Horowitz it here. Even saw in a WrestleZone post last week, interview with $1 Million Man. We need more in-ring improv. Oh, when I see that shit, my head fucking twitches a little.
10 years ago, you were doing this.
10 years ago, when he was listening to Rappers Flow, talking about how they walked the mic at the disco, I didn't like how that shit was going down. Think about ripping the mic with my own sound. And I was. And I influenced people, some of the best people. And fucking here we are with a factory system where they go 30 seconds. And then does the NXT clap, because it doesn't matter what the fuck you said as long as you hit the marks in front of Matt Bloom or Sarah Del Rey and everybody clapped for you. That doesn't mean you're getting it if you guys sit there and watch somebody get up and do a promo. So there's a lot more on how to yes and heighten and explore, actively listen, play out the game, commit to the bit, put yourself on the same side of the scene. How to find to be the protagonist in the moment. So they have, and $1 Million Man has no idea about any of those things I just said. The only people on camera in wrestling that do are Nick Nemeth, Colt Cabana, and Chris Jericho that I know of. And maybe MJF took some classes too, I gotta believe.
He definitely did.
So that those are about the only ones, and the holes and have they been teaching it? Have they learned from the masters? Like everybody who's writing everything on HBO and Comedy Central and Saturday Night Live? No, they haven't. So how do you expect them to teach LAX how to do this when LAX could be doing it if they were trained the right way? Then imagine they're awesome now. Imagine if they knew what the fuck they were doing, Stevie follows my flow on Master Shoot Theater. He's not a trained improviser, and I coach him a little off of like, here's a move you did. He's like, yeah, I knew I did something, but what? And I break it down, and he gets it for next time, and it's right there. But they don't know how. $1 Million Man doesn't know at his school how to teach that shit, and nobody at Improv Olympic in Second City knows how to mix it into a shine or your heat spot, either. So interesting days ahead. So
speaking of Nemeth, did you happen to catch a Nemeth on screen last night at AEW? I did.
Was Ryan there? Yeah, I didn't see him.
Ryan was there. He was in the crowd.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, he's got a movie coming out they've been working on. I don't know if that could get him heat or not, because his movie's called Heel, and the women's group is called Heel. That
show on Stars.
His show on Stars is going to be called Heels. Like we got a lot.
You always say, dum heels over strong. Okay,
heels over way strong, baby. And who had the shirt first? I did, so I get residual on it all.
He does.
Go
also,
ahead.
Sting and Darby Allin were up next. They had a segment, so it was to celebrate. But it was Darby Allin defending his championship against Brian Cage. So Tony Schiavone introduces them. Tony Schiavone introduces both of them. Taz comes on screen, though, before really Sting can get into it, start congratulating Darby. Kind of mentions the fact that he sees a little bit of himself in Darby. But before he can go further, Taz pops up on the Titantron, cuts a promo on Sting. Heel promo, right, basically says that Sting and Darby used nefarious weapons and they don't fight fair. And because of that, Brian Cage ultimately, unfortunately, lost the match last week. So Taz refers to the fact that he's from the streets, then they should take it to the streets. Darby Allin's like, well, let's take it to the streets. Be careful what you wish for. And that's kind of how this promo ended. I mean, did I miss anything?
No, it was kind of weird and confusing. Like Taz is doing improv, and you can get a little one-trick pony-ish and listen, and he's trying to be in the moment, and I gotta, I like that. I like when Taz fucks up too. It makes me laugh, but like, because he can laugh at himself because he knows of what it is. But he goes, we play by the rules, and he should have been like, we don't play by the rules. We're from the streets. He goes, we play by the rules, but you took it to the streets. Well, we're from the streets. If you want to go to the streets, we can. Like, I'm like, well, what is it? Do you play by the rules and you're fine, but like really you're the badasses? Those guys don't look like they play by any rules, especially the doctor's recommendation for CC dosage rules. So, that made me laugh. But that Darby, man, he grounded this scene, and he was pretty cool, to be honest with you. And I liked the camera shots of him and his slow take on that. And to not have them right out there, to have them backstage on camera was better, because 4 or 5 guys is going to fucking bury him being out there, so that was a smart choice. I popped when it was Ricky Stark's turn to talk, and Taz held the mic and he couldn't really hear it. Like, that was the audio issue I was seeing, but that was just Taz not having the mic right up there, where Taz cuffs the mic like an MC. He knows how to like he's a hype man or something, well, he is. But it was an all right scene. I didn't hate it.
I just like when Taz says Ricky Starks. It was good, man. That was one of the moments where I appreciated the promos in AEW, because Taz was doing old school heel 101, where you lie about losing and say you won, where you blame them for cheating. So I get why he did all that. And he was just talking. He was being a heel and talking like a normal guy. So it's refreshing to hear, because even on shows.
You got to go watch the Botchamania this week, where they caught him last week off camera saying a bunch of stuff about the Capitol in Nevada and all that kind of shit. And he'll always have 1 or 2 lines that come off super gay, but he doesn't realize what it is until you break it down later in Botchamania. It's pretty fucking fun.
Like when Jake got on that like bust a nut kick or whatever.
Yeah. There's some really good Taz ones in the last week.
No, man, I like just hearing a normal promo, even on like some shows that I think have pretty good writing. Like, I've been watching a little bit of Impact per your suggestion, and they have some good segments in there and some good promos. But even some of those, depending on who's delivering it, you could tell that they're delivering lines as opposed to just saying what's on their mind. Mm-hmm. But one thing AEW does well is they give guys that can talk a microphone, and they let them talk. So we're not seeing a bunch of guys that have no idea how to cut a promo getting ample promo time.
Sure.
I'm cool with it.
And I think Impact is trying to do more to get away from that on the script. And even they did some cool stuff with entrances, where we had a real wrestling type of scene with Swinger and Falaba and the Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz. But Brian Myers enters through an opening elevator, so it makes it very real time. Like, it just grounded the scene a lot. There was some cool stuff this week there too, and how they wrote Ty off wrestle crap wise was great. So go ahead.
Impact Attack.
I just put it up.
What's your boy, MSG?
Yeah,
well. I'm always working hard, producer of the year. Anyway, coming up after commercial break, we had the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega's home as they were meeting Kenny Omega there. They were, I guess, invited there, if you will, or they just decided, hey, we're going to come. Alex Marvez is there as he shows up with the camera too, and they ridiculed him a little bit. Like, what, are you following us? This is weird. Well, at least come with us then. Come on, take the camera. So they're pointing Marvez and the camera around, and they enter into Kenny Omega's house, which apparently wherever Kenny Omega is currently staying right now has an elevator as Michael Nakazawa enters through the elevator, which I thought that was a nice little, little piece of production. I like that. Made Michael Nakazawa look important too as he came down the elevator. Come with me, guys. Let me show you. Takes him into what looks like a den, and there's a picture commissioned of Kenny Omega with his shirt off, and Don Callis with his shirt off with the 6-pack. And the Young Bucks were like, what the hell is this? And then Don Callis comes in. He's like, you like that? I had a commission for my best friend's first birthday. And they're like, his birthday was back in October. And he was like, yeah, but when you're a wrestling god, you can always get him a gift. Didn't you guys get him a gift? And they're like, no, his birthday. No, it's okay. I'm sure you guys will get him something down the line. Then, of course, the Young Bucks, questioned John Callis based on the miscommunication last week, as he liked to put it, and said, somebody in the truck told me. I was just following what was going on in the truck. And I just introduced the Good Brothers, and this leads to Young Bucks and then jaw-jacking back and forth, feeling that they got cheated out of their match, made to look like a fool on national television. At this point in time, Callis then kicks Alex Marvez and the cameraman out of the room, but sets the camera up and acts as if he's not recording anything anymore. And then the scene ends where it makes it appear the Young Bucks attack Don Callis because he's screaming like a girl as it fades to black. So I liked how it ended. I liked it. I thought it was a little long, just a little too long. Could have wrapped it up maybe a couple minutes earlier. But other than that, there was some funny stuff in there, and the picture was a little weird, so that added to it. Ben, I mean, you look like you want to jump in. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was super weird. I mean, and funny in a weird way.
Epstein shit, right? Like some Epstein.
Like the house and the, I've kind of voiced my opinion of the phoniness of what Cyrus is doing, like I want more real. I thought Nick Jackson played very real in this scene of bizarreness, to be honest with you. I was very impressed with Nick Jackson's performance here. Not that Matt wasn't either, but Nick really grounded this scene out of being ridiculous wrestle crap, even when they throw out the fucking take him to the dungeon and all this shit. Okay. Like, is it a sex dungeon because we've got a homoerotic thing on the wall? Like, all this implied, bisexuality. Just come out of the closet and be out, bro. Like, I don't need all this ribbing on it. You're a fucking great wrestler. We're not going to respect you any less. Just fucking be that and embrace it. That's all this shit back and forth with that stuff. I don't know. I don't think that's the look that you really want when you could be representing something much greater than that. And just to do some wrestle crap comedy, I really think there's a better performance in Cyrus, dude, in Don Callis. I really want him to drop this kind of like wrestling cover stuff. Yeah, dude. Let's get real with it, because if Nick Jackson, who's the lesser known of the two, is being the more charismatic one to come to the camera, his realness of like, this scene is fucked. Like, tell me what the fuck is going on right now, dude. Like that grounded it. Like, I wanted to see Cyrus on that same plane, but it's still a set the camera down, a pay him off with the old envelope payoff.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that part. He offers
that shit, dude. Like, it's just like, it's bullshit, man. Like, it's really bringing down the level of your creative when you got something good there to go on. And I know he's better than that.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I forgot that. Let that part out. That's what set off the Young Bucks. Is he tried to offer them a payoff. He tried to offer a first check. No, that's what we made last week. Right? We made that money last week in merch money, and then he tries to offer him more money. And he's like, "Why?" He's like, "If you think you can offer us, any type of money after all the years we spent with Kenny, blah blah blah." And that's what then set up the conclusion. Sorry, go ahead. So.
Yeah, the business of that was, it appeared Callis was trying to pay the Young Bucks off to like get out of Kenny Omega's life. That was the story they were trying to get across.
Right.
And Matt had a funny note in there where he was like, and I've worked for the company that's writing these checks, and I have a feeling this check isn't going to be good. Something like that.
Like, you had the check in hand.
Oh, come on, that's unnecessary. I like his response too. It was good. It felt real,
And I agree with you, Hamin, about Nick Jackson. He was so understated yesterday that it came across because he wasn't doing anything over the top. We've talked about Matt Jackson, who is the more outgoing, charismatic one on camera, but sometimes Matt will go a little too far. He'll get a little too showy or wrestling-y. But I thought Nick did a great job grounding it. But I got to disagree, man. I fucking love Callis's promos lately. He's a slime ball. He's reminding me of Bobby Heenan, which I think is what he's going for. He grew up watching AWA. He probably loved, Heenan and AWA. And I've heard comparisons that him and Kenny are trying to do a Heenan Bockwinkel kind of thing. I thought it was cool. And then where it goes later, where we see the results of this segment and Don Callis further possibly manipulating everyone, I was cool with it, and I liked the Bucks' interaction with it too.
Because here's the thing, because D'Amore was kind of trapped in the same thing of having to be wrestling manager, but D'Amore has found his voice with different characters in how he has to be carny, but it's very real. Like, his stuff with Heath Slater was very, very real. And with a lot of carniness mixed in, but it wasn't like
last night's promo with Rohit Raju and TJP. Should we tell him the title's not on the line? He barely said anything in that scene. You know what I mean?
He doesn't have to say shit, and he's found his voice and how to put it in there. And I'm a Callis fan too, man. Like I think he's got a lot more charisma and potential, and he's paid his dues 10 times over. But there's
what
something.
Do you want less? You want more understated?
It's their clique. It's their core of where they come from, and I feel bad. I feel bad for them because can they ever really drop their guard and be friends with each other? Because when I hear them on with Conan, I've said this before, Conan and Disco on K100, they have to come on and, oh, he's the guy who cured African syphilis with his own spit. And he's like they come up with all these little rib pats on the back so they put each other over. And it's a buddy game they play out. But that's their good Briz, Cliz bullshit of their generation. And I wonder to myself, like, are we really the only ones that talk fucking normal to each other? Who do that? Or these guys still got to put on airs, and they're so paranoid of one another at the bottom line that even when they're friends in a tight-knit group, that they got to do that shit in front of everybody else. It makes me sad for them, kind of, man. You know, like, just like, because you're never going to achieve your true potential as a performer if that's the fucking gateway you put in front of it all. You got to break that barrier down. And he's done so many gimmicks for so long that it's his time to shine as a fucking Sopranos level performer, not a gimmick act.
I don't know if you ever remember Rip talking about this. I remember one time at the end of class, Rip was fucking with us, and he was like, man, you guys are all nerds. You're a bunch of nerds. And he was talking about, like, in my day, the boys were doing this backstage and they're talking like this and blah, blah, blah. And you guys are just acting normal, essentially, is what he was saying. Yeah. And I remember Rip several times saying, like, he's the hustler Rip Rogers anytime he's around wrestling people and wrestling things. So, you know, you have Mark Scara, and I've learned a lot of who Mark is throughout the years by him giving little tiny pieces at a time.
Sure.
But you hardly ever get to see him. Whereas people, you know, of our generation, people like you and I think we're a little bit different because we're able to kind of compartmentalize. Like, we have what we do on camera or, you know, in front of a live audience. And then once we leave, we're Chris and Pops or Susio and Pops. We're not.
Could you imagine if I did Hamin around the boys all the fucking
I would hate you. You know?
I hate you too, moron. It goes both ways.
Yeah, I once lost one of my best friends in 7th grade because he became a fan of Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he talked like Stone Cold all day, every day. So everything was, how about I whoop your ass, son? By like a whoop your ass. I was tired. I ended the friendship. I'm like, I can't do
God
this.
damn it, Silvio. Let's go get
everything.
some
pizza. Yeah, literally. We're in the lunch line. You know, pizza comes up and
hey, you can't come in front of me. Get out of here.
He refused to drop the accent, and he had a thick Puerto Rican accent. So imagine the comedy of him doing that. He was second language English.
Ray trying to do.
Yeah. I often wonder what happened to that boy.
He became vice president. No, I'm just kidding.
Cody Rhodes and whooped ass, and then he left.
Yeah. But you're right. I mean, that is a very strange dynamic.
All right, we got 5 matches to get through still. So we got Cody Rhodes, Peter Avalon here. We got Cody Rhodes. He immediately hit the crossroads, but then Jade Cargill came out, kind of distracted him a little bit, and then Avalon kind of took over. They both fought to the outside, knocked each other out. Then we went to commercial. During commercial, the picture-in-picture, Avalon kind of dominated. Came back from commercial. Rhodes hit Avalon with stunner, power slam, and then he followed it up to where I guess Avalon stopped. Didn't want to get slapped, so he tapped out instead because after the figure 4 got locked in, he had locked in and he attempted to slap Avalon, and Avalon didn't want to get slapped, so he tapped out. But Avalon was on a 5-match winning streak, they noted before this, as he had picked up a bunch of victories on AEW Dark, but unfortunately it came to a climax here with Cody Rhodes. What'd you think of this match, Mr. Don Silvio?
I like that they made it a point to throw in the 5-match winning streak, because all I could remember about Avalon was that he hasn't been on TV pretty much since the early days of Dynamite, like the first couple months. and that he was known for having this big losing streak. So when I see him going competitive with Cody, one of the top guys, I'm like, oh, I'm not sure how good of a look it is. So thankfully they, reference the winning streak, because that's real in sports. That'll happen. Somebody gets hot, they're on a winning streak. It was what it was. It's a easy TV match. I thought Avalon did fine. Cody did fine. I like the psychology, which I'll get into, but the finish, I don't know how much I was feeling that one. I like the idea of him not wanting to get hit in the face. What I didn't like was that he stopped selling the figure 4 after a minute. So Cody had him in the hold, he reverses it. Then when Cody gets him back in the figure 4, Avalon's just got a neutral face, no pain, until Cody goes for the slap, and then he starts tapping. So I think that was just a little bit of timing on trying to get the finish right. It was just a little wonky. My favorite part of that match, though, was when Cody missed the leapfrog. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but Cody was good enough to keep working it for me to question whether it was a botch or not, because I know Cody would be capable of doing that spot on purpose. Mm-hmm. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. And they sold the leg. It was great. I love when shit like that gets ugly and they sell it. Unfortunately, right after that, Avalon did a dive when Cody's leg was hurt. But Peter's a good worker, man. They did a good job. I do like the fact that the best part of the psychology with Cody is they give him an out for having these. Cody's known for having matches with lesser known performers or guys that are lower on the roster and going long distance, getting stuff out of them. I love how they tie it together by saying Cody's his own worst enemy sometimes. When he gets unfocused, mistakes happen. Arn will get on him. The commentators mention it. So I thought that was a good way to tie everything together. Cody wasn't focused tonight. He's worried about Jade Cargill or whatever. So that allowed Peter Avalon to stay competitive with him. What do you think of that psychology with Cody?
I like it, actually. I think they spelled that same story out nice. I saw it the same way. She did the distraction. A guy who's on wins from underneath has earned the right to go face for the TNT title. I think that's a good game to play out, to get undercard guys built, heels or babies, to get to that opportunity. And then Cody beats them because they've got the credibility coming in. And Cody's just got to have one match to stay strong and stay on top. I think that's a brilliant way to do business, to be honest with you. I like that a lot. However we can play that out many ways. Peter Avalon, funny look, comedy guy, but his strikes were good in here. I just look at a guy that size and I question, does he look like a pro wrestler? He's in better shape, but it just, to me, I like that he hit him with the crossroads right away and had him down, ready to be done. And then the distraction comes. So we tell that story. But then again, when I see Jade Cargill, I go, we failed because there's no Shaq payoff. Brandy's pregnant. We're trapped in something. We don't know where it's going now. It's completely called on the fly. So why didn't we cut our losses instead of doing something here? You know what I mean? Because what's the payoff going to be? Are we going to wait a full year till Brandy comes back from having the baby to then do the Shaq to the, I guess that's a writing challenge. I'd be interested in sitting down to try and plot out and accept, there's ways to do it. Sure. There's always ways to skin the cat.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing by far is Cody put on 19 pounds of muscle mass. Yeah, since the beginning of this year in 3 weeks. I fucking just about fell off my ass, bro. I was fucking dying laughing. Yeah, dude. Cody looks great.
Cody looks great. He's been putting on weight for a few months now. And I don't he looks good.
3 months, but I don't give a shit.
Right? Because I didn't notice that much of a difference from December to today. He looked good then. He looks good now. Just the 20 pounds and.
Dude, I was fucking dying laughing, bro. And maybe it was a slip up of that, but
maybe.
But still,
I thought about you immediately when that line got hit.
I'm trying to find it here 1 second.
MSG, did you notice? Does Cody have his theme song remixed with Snoop rapping over top?
Yeah, he does.
They did it when Snoop appeared.
You want some? I'll go get you some. You want some too?
I got plenty, bro.
Bogos on B12, bro.
Have I just been missing the boat on that, Matt?
Yeah, they remixed it when Snoop did when he came off the top. Remember that week, 2 weeks ago or whatever? He came out with Cody to the new remix song. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, but yes, after that we go backstage to FTR and Tully Blanchard.
How about Cody liking Snoop? Like, because he's in that, I mean, it's Snoop. He's iconic and they're on the show together. But you remember what Cody was into? What his entrance music was in OVW?
Punk music. I don't know.
Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I believe in a thing called love. Just the rhythm of my heart. And fucking, yeah, Superman's dead.
I hate that song.
He loves that, bro. And now he's bow wow to creeping and crawling. Yiggy, yes, y'all. And Snoop Doggy Dogg and Cody Rhodes in the house.
He's married to a beautiful Nubian princess.
Yeah.
Some swag behind him now.
I believe in a thing called love.
I love that song.
This song you could come out doing wrestling, bro. Everyone was
Cure, right? The Cure.
No, it was like that. It was
the darkness.
Yeah, they had a one-hit wonder of like the.
You're right.
Glam rock.
I know what song you're talking about. Yeah.
Legs sweet.
Didn't Spears take that song after?
They both came out to it. Yeah. Like that was the thing. They fought for the song. Oh, dude. So bad.
Maddie, keep him on the rails, please.
I know. I'm trying here. So they go back to FTR. Tully Blanchard the back. Tully says the ratings just came out. They need the tag team titles. I thought that was a great line. And Jurassic Express interrupts and says they want to fight FTR. Jungle Boy challenges Dex Hardwood for a match. Dex agrees, and now it's a singles match next week for Dynamite. We then moved on to another match with Jon Moxley versus Nick Camaroto. I think I pronounced that correctly. The match begins with Nick shoving Moxley. Mox comes back with a headbutt. Then Camarato. I'm just going to say Nick. Nick is controlling the match. Camarato. I'm sorry. Camarato. Excuse me. He's controlling the match. Slams Mox in the middle of the ring. And then the commentators talked about how he's actually a student of QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes. The Camarato has Mox up, follows it up by hitting a backbreaker, some heavy strikes. And then eventually, though, Mox is able to reverse a charging shoulder thrust that Camarato was heading toward him at the turnbuckle, slapped on the sleeper, and then the ref called for the bell because Camarato fell out, knocked out. So winner of this match, Jon Moxley. I liked it. I like the fact that Jon Mox won with the sleeper hold because, realistically, it would be kind of hard to get that guy into a paradigm shift. So I like the fact that it ended with him having to use a submission hold to take the big guy down. What did you think, Silvio?
I really like this as well. And by the way, from the last segment, I am looking forward to Dax versus Jungle Boy. I'm going to go on record and say that match is going to be fucking dope. But back to these guys. Why I liked it so much is because it was simple and told a story. When you have so much going on, so many things and guys doing spectacular moves, promos, angles, blah, 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 sometimes simple really stands out because it really is true sometimes when less is more. Moxley went out there. He sold for this kid. I don't know how old the guy is, but he's, newer to the business. All Moxley did was sell for the guy, get him over because it was believable with the size comparison. Then Moxley, moves out the way, hits a German and chokes the big dude out. The guy looked great. Moxley did phenomenal. He reminded me of Hamin. He reminded me of an old school like Billy Jack Haynes. I don't want to say, quote, Dr. Death because I hold Dr. Death in such high regard. Maybe he could be one day.
No,
but that was kind of the vibe I got from him.
Jack. Yep. Dude, this guy looks like a man. Like, no, I'm not trying to shit on Peter Avalon, but I when that guy comes out, I said, dude, that's what a pro wrestler looks like. You know what I mean? That's what these other ones are kids playing that, trying to convince an audience that they are. That's what a TV ready guy who's here to do business for your champ should look like. That's believable TV. And maybe he's got a little ways to go, but he looked good. His strikes look good. All of his strong stuff looked good. The only thing I got to say is when Mox is lighting him up in the corner after Mox did sell for him and get him over, he needs to sell away. He just stayed there and hit him, and Mox would pull him back in. He needs to take one and go down the ropes and play it a bit more. So that'll just come with time of working all sides. He just had his back to the ring when if he would have sold away, we could have cut cameras and gotten his reaction. He could have gotten over on TV a little bit more, and we would have had a little more give and chase in the match instead of just staying in the corner. I get it. You're fighting the champ. It's your first opportunity and you're a student. You shut the fuck up and you shut the fuck up. But as a pro, as he gets better, that's just going to become second nature. But that guy had a hell of a look on him. I think an A+ performance, probably, to be honest with you, might have stole the goddamn show. But for the work that he did, being understated, he shined and did a damn good job, man. And you hadn't really seen him anyplace. He's not a guy I know on the indies from a ton, but I was impressed with him, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and he didn't just have an impressive look. The moves he did, everything he did was well timed. It was crisp and had some snaps, so he could get it done in the ring. The only thing that I was wishing about while watching this is it made me kind of wish that we still had wrestling territories. As soon as I started thinking of him being like Billy Jack Haynes or Dr. Death, just imagine if this guy had the opportunity to go somewhere else for 5 years and get so fucking good. Then we got to see him now come on AEW as a built-in main eventer. He'd be fucking ready to roll, making money.
Here's what kills me, and again, Peter Avalon did a good job too. And it doesn't matter. You can talk about the guys coming up in the tag.
Yeah, he's a good worker.
Or but I see him, and I see what's the two guys from Mexico, Jack Evans and Helico, right? Great workers, but I look at them, and if I'm gonna look on TV, dude, that looks like they look like the guys who are delivering your Grubhub, bro. Like, now you march out that big fucker who had that match. Give me Tony Gunn. Give me fucking Shiloh and his partner. Give me fucking Halal Beefcake and who's the other OVW brother? Big Jack fucker.
There's a lot.
He tags with him, But like, I can name 10 guys who look like threats, credible threats, who can all work better than the indie hire your friend program that they got on Dark to build credible threats, to really make Cody look good, to really make Mox look good every week, not just doing the let's service the indie fan favorites that we got on the roster. You know what I mean? I think that decision needs to be made. Again, that comes down to the politics of wrestling and all that bullshit. But that they could have a dozen guys who look like that dude, and that's a way better get-over match than the other way.
And all it takes too, bro, is 10 pounds of muscle. Like somebody like Peter Avalon, put 10 pounds on him, and it goes a long way. Like,
in 3 weeks, you should come back with 19 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, like look at somebody like me. I've never been a large opponent, but I made it a point to get in the conditioning that I needed to look credible when I got in the ring against any opponent. Even if I'm working against a heavyweight, I have enough definition and athleticism that people can suspend that disbelief. Okay, well, he's a long shot to beat this heavyweight, but there's a possibility. We need more of that in wrestling. Take Seidel, perfect example. Matt's a smaller guy, but he's shredded. When he comes out, he doesn't look out of place. He looks like he belongs to the ring.
It's ridiculous, right?
Well, Pac's a fucking freak, but so you don't have to be Mr. Universe. Just get your body to the point where you look credible in the eyes of people watching, like you could whoop someone's ass. And it doesn't take that much. It takes just consistency and being dedicated to doing that.
I'm saying so. Look at, come on, the fucking Sheik. He's making back.
Well, after the match itself, Moxley asked for the microphone. Moxley began cutting a promo, saying that anything can happen on Dynamite. It's getting crazy. Says he does not know who's in the Bullet Club now, who's a part of Impact Wrestling. He tells Omega he messed up because he's ready to go after him. And Moxley says all the roads in pro wrestling go straight to John Moxley. Now, I like.
No, we didn't. That's the line. All roads lead to John Moxley. He goes, all roads in wrestling go through John Moxley. Well, where do they go through? They just got to stop at John Moxley. I felt bad for him because it was just a botch line, but the line
Right.
all roads lead to, and things like that. I love that kind of botch.
Well, anywho, John Moxley itself, I thought he delivered a good promo. I was watching it with one of my buddies, Joe Vernola. Shout out to Joe, also hosts South Park podcast with me, and he works with Vince Russo at Devotion Championship Wrestling. So he said he liked the promo, but he was like, man, if he had just taken an extra half a second or a second between his phrases, it would have resonated a little bit more. And I was like, that's exactly what Ben's going to say, I bet. Today on Light the Fuse.
He's done a couple of his own things, man. But here's the toughest thing.
It was good. We're not downplaying that, of course.
Yeah, it was real good. But guess what? Ben Hamin couldn't have done it that good at the end of a match, especially moving that big fucker around. My tongue would have been hanging out. There'd been spit in my beard. That's what you would have heard if I was fucking trying to deliver it. So I totally get it, but man, you go here's the and this is a fucking great exercise that we don't do in wrestling. Rip would say, you got fucking all day to sit there and cut promos in front of the fucking mirror. Okay, now do 20-minute fucking straight cardio, high interval training, stop and cut a fucking 90-second promo. Now that's fucking starting to train yourself for that opportunity. And to be honest with you, I don't remember doing that, in Rip's class. And that should be more of am I right? Maybe you should incorporate some of that into yours still, because that's where we are, especially if you got to work somebody who's green. Not to say that dude was tough to move around or whatever. He did a good job, but you might have somebody who is a goddamn tank and you got 90 seconds afterwards to get your business over. Boy, if you're not ready for that fucking feeling, bro, it's a motherfucker.
So I don't do those in class, but on my shows, I always book several pre-match promos. I just love it because it's like a fight to me, after a boxing match or UFC. But people don't understand this. You and I do, because we've been there. What the fans might not understand, it is a completely different art to do a post-match promo than it is to do any other kind of promo. It's like the difference between singles and tag team psychology. You're tired, you have this adrenaline going through you and natural emotion because the moment feels real to you. And now you got to convey that out with a heavy chest, and all these things going through your head. It's very hard to do. It's a completely different art. We won't get the normal Moxley sitting at a bar, everybody dies from.
No, so for his timing to be the only thing that was really off there, not off, and just that one little line. That when Cody says A, I'll give that an A, bro. I'll give that Moxley segment an A, dude, to be honest with you.
Me too.
Well, we go backstage next with Dasha. She announces that Eddie Kingston will face Lance Archer. And she asks Kingston how he's going to prepare for the match. And he says he doesn't. And suddenly Lance Archer interrupts, tells him that next week he'll be coming at him. Nothing Kingston can do. Jake Roberts challenges him to a fight without the Butcher and the Blade being there. Archer and Robertson walk away with Kingston, and then the Butcher and the Blade, along with the Bunny, stand and watch them all kind of walk away. Just a quick little interaction. Jake the Snake, why don't you not have your stupid little cronies out there next week? It'll be a straight-up fight between Eddie Kingston and Lance Archer.
I just thought it was funny that they were talking about not talking and just having the match next week. That's what I got from the promo. That was funny. Yeah,
in the ring and fight.
But there we go. And they're trying to get Eddie Kingston. They're trying to show Eddie is vulnerable. So I'm not sure where they're going with that, but that's the emotion they were saying.
Yeah, I look forward to more in this story between those two. They're the best promo guys in the business.
Hey, we talked a little bit about it yesterday on Impact Attack, Silvio, but have you seen the lineup for the new Dark Side of the Ring?
I saw Pillman, the WCW Korea show. Those are the only ones that come to mind.
The Smith family,
Gage,
Rocket Roberts, Rocket Robin, I'm sorry. And then Nick Gage as well. There's a couple other ones I thought that
Gage is the guy that robbed the bank, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick Gage. Nick
Deathmatch
Gage.
guy.
Yeah, the deathmatch guy. Yeah. Well, yeah, I just thought I'd put that over really quick. Anyway, Top Flight, Matt Seidel, your boy, versus Private Party, Matt Hardy, Hardy Party. Before the match began, the commentator talked about Private Party's win last night on Impact. That was nice. And now that, of course, they're the #1 contenders to face the Good Briz or the Briz Cliz. That's actually what they're calling themselves. I thought you were just saying that on TV, Ben. I didn't actually realize that was their name.
I've been hearing that in the locker room since 2015, 2014, bro.
Well, I know, but Joe actually pointed out, he goes, no, that's what they're calling them on TV. They're calling them the Briz Cliz now. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So yes, the match begins with Dante and Mark shaking hands. Of course, the story in this, for those who don't watch the Being the Elite, just to put this over, Matt Hardy told them this week, you have to win by any means necessary. Same thing he kind of did last night on Impact, or the night before on Impact. So he put that over on Being the Elite that tonight they needed to win by any means necessary, and they do. They do just that. As was Isaiah Kennedy at the end of the match hits Dante in the ribs with the chair while Hardy distracted the ref. And then Quinn went up and hit the shooting star press for the victory. So the winner of this match was Private Party. Matt Hardy. We're kind of getting slowly, looks like here, this Private Party heel turn based on, Matt Hardy's got his claws cinched into him. He's taking 30% on Dynamite, Silvio. He took 50% on Impact. We took 100% tonight. So according to his math, that's 260%. So
there you go.
Still, is it wrong? I know we're in the era of overbooked everything, but isn't it wrong to do the 450? I sat there with myself. I'm like, all right, I know the kids want flashy, and that's what these guys do, but you're trying to get them over by any means necessary with a heel shot. The chair is the most heel thing. The 450 could be considered a fuck you, but if you're doing athletic shit, you're not a heel, right? Like that's not it to me. So I don't know. Tell me where I'm wrong, buddy.
The shooting star is what you're referencing. I'm down with it, and this was told to me by Rip, and then I coach it into my own way with my guys. Because Rip always told me, he trained me different to you. Obviously, because we do different things, we're different stature. Do your athletic stuff, but it should generally backfire on you. And the lesson he gave me is, if you're going to do something flashy, cheat first. So the outcome happens because of the cheat, not because of the move. So the crowd can say, oh, well, he never would have even been able to hit that move had he not hit him with the chair, powder in his eye, whatever it is. So that's kind of how I teach my heels. Do something nefarious before you hit your cool move instead of just dropping them and doing it. So that's kind of where I stand. And I like the finish. I like how Cassidy did it and then showed the emotion, and then you had Mark Quinn look at him and he changed his facial and then hit Seidel's finish in the same match Seidel was in. And they won.
Ben, would it have resonated better with you instead if after the chair shot they did if he did Matt Hardy's version 1 leg drop instead as the finisher, right? Kind of like that's your partner. That's still,
I don't know. To me, the chair shot is the weapon. That's the heat. Like wrestle, distract the ref, cheat, hit him with that. You're not going to take him any higher than the weapon. Why is the wrestling move fucking better than the weapon, unless the wrestling move is just the fuck you? So if they wanted to honor Matt, that's one thing. But I think Matt saying by any means necessary, weapon shot, pin. That's how, because if you do something athletic, heels aren't supposed to be athletic, Matt. Baby faces are. So
I disagree wholeheartedly there. We're all athletic. The babyface should just be more athletic or better at wrestling than you are.
So the babyface should have done a 900 before the 450. A heel's heat is supposed to be boring, so the babyface's comeback and shine are exciting. A heel is not supposed to be exciting and athletic. Silvio's wrong on that.
To Silvio's credit, though, in this, though, isn't Seidel's finisher the same thing? So they're beating him with his own finisher.
I get it, but we haven't set that up in a war of fucking shooting star versus shooting star either. And they hit the chair shot. So now we're telling two stories, one of cheating and one of that. And we're crossing streams. Beat him with that and then say next week, and I'll fucking use your own finisher. I do it better than you do and set it up. And I don't need a chair. I did that because my dude told me to. I'll beat you with your shit. Instead of getting it all over and getting it done. We're not telling the story the right way. We're just getting our shit in.
They would have had to have done a different weapon shot for that, because a chair shot to the ribs in the manner he did it, you could still
Bring
kick
it
out.
on ZS3. Fucking boom, hit him. Slide the chair and put it under his fucking neck. Give him the Undertaker fucking blaster. Throw it out. He's fucking holding his shit. 1, 2, 3.
I mean, and also to that, Silvio,
right out the fucking corner post, bro, and that's it. And he busted his neck up.
I mean, to that as well, Silvio. He was on. They were both standing right on top of this post or whatever. If he had hit him with the chair and it had gone into the gin and juice, maybe that would have made a little bit more sense too, because that was their finisher, right? And then I
think it's a matter of taste. Like, I thought it made sense. He cheated and then he hit a move and won. It just comes down to a matter of taste. And I mean, I think you're partially correct in that, yes, some heels should be a little bit more on the boring side and have like a boring heat, but it's not a fit all. There's not one size fits all wrestlers. Think of Pat Patterson, one of the true great workers, how he got everybody over, was flying around and picking up the pace and, going ass over tea kettle for these guys. Ric Flair as a heel, Ray Stevens as a heel.
Yeah,
so
Flair's not an athlete. He goes to the top rope, gets caught, and fucking gets tilted.
Right. But he's also doing this up, down. If Flair wasn't an athlete, he was a college wrestler, football player, power lifter. It's not one size fits all. Some heels, Randy Savage was one of the most fucking up and down. Just at the end of the day, make sure the baby face is the one that gets the better of the spot. That's all you got to do. And he's gonna stay over. So heel shouldn't always be boring. Some should, but not all, in my humble opinion. Sir.
All right, well, we go backstage after that, or I guess after the match. I'm sorry, the Hardy Party did beat down Top Flight and Seidel by hitting the Twist of Fate on Dante and Seidel, so getting their heat as they left. They go backstage then with MJF talking to the Inner Circle members, minus Chris Jericho. MJF kind of tries to hype up everybody, tell them they need to get this match of the way, put it past them, move on. Sammy Guevara still trying to get up in MJF's face, saying that he doesn't trust him. MJF trying to reassure him, look, I want what's best for this whole group. Don't you guys all want what's best as well? And they eventually, he gives everybody a fist bump. And then he tries to give one to Sammy, and Sammy says, I'm not there yet. All I could think of was Eric Cartman to token, like, fist bump, bro, fist bump. He didn't want to give him a fist bump. So that was that little build up. Again, another backstage event to build up the main event match. Any thoughts before we move on to the female match here? So yeah,
I like that interaction. MJF is acting his ass off. Like, you could kind of have an idea of where he's going to go with all this, but he's doing a good job making you suspend a little disbelief. The fist bump was good, and it was a simple line from Sammy that I think Hamin probably would appreciate something like that. I think all Sammy said was, we're not there yet.
Yeah. Hey, so it's fine. That's all good and real stuff to add to the scene. Yeah, dude, they're getting it layers by layers. And even the names of each guy with their own little tag team, and Sammy Hagar as a tag team is now that is a rib, because that was written in there, but they're saying yes to it. Could be the most over thing of the next 3 months, to be honest with you. So there's a lot of good stuff with these guys, man. They get it. I just hope that the business decisions, because things like that up against Raw will make them look cooler than Raw.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to play it out, man. We got to. And Jericho firing shots across the bow. Who else do you want talking shit to open a show against Raw? Right. Absolutely.
You got Moxley too.
Yeah, absolutely. And they'll be over there. Hi, I'm the tribal chief. Oh, okay. It ain't good. You put one against the other, it ain't gonna stack up, bro. So really interesting here, because I'm a mark for this this little power lifter girl, the Russian phenom, man. I like her amateur mix-in style, even when the other girl is easy on the eyes and whatnot, but I like when they just let her go with the waist locks and she does the step in trip and all that kind of stuff. That's what I like in wrestling, man. Like, I want more of that mixed with some high flying spots, but I'd rather see that 60% of the match of some Dean Malenko style chain, Benoit style chain back and forth with Eddie Guerrero to get over wrestling, because then a spot means something. We're just doing spots without the wrestling to ground us. Nothing means anything. But then Unfortunately, she goes completely rotten, goes up to the top rope and does a fucking dive onto the two lover boys on the outside. And I was like, oh man, can't we just do what you've seen Thunder Rosa and Serena do, what you saw Ty and Serena do last week? Here's your two girls' opportunity to do that. But instead, we got to do a fucking dive the outside. And then the guys, the way they mixed into the finish was fucking unnecessary. The guys just needed to be cheerleaders there. This could have been a really solid match for both these girls where there was 2 or 3 overbooked spots that didn't need to be in it at all.
So, of course, Ben, you're referring to Penelope Ford, who was accompanied by Miro and Chuck Taylor taking on Layla Hirsch. Of course, Layla Hirsch looking like a Russian power lifter, or as I've told you, I was like, she's kind of got like a Ronda Rousey, Jordan Grace mixed like look there, power lifter.
That's an interesting take on it. I wasn't thinking of it that way, but yeah.
So, and out of those two, out of actually all 3 of those, I think Layla is the most attractive to me personally. But as you mentioned, yes, Layla was doing well, right? Hitting those big knee strikes, followed up with the big German suplex, and then she ran up the top of the turnbuckle and dived off on a Chuck Taylor and Kip Sabian. Now,
that's where JR looks at fucking Shivani, and you don't see it on camera. They just look at each other and go.
Well, Penelope Ford got the victory here with Kip Sabian's help, but the story of this match, honestly, to me, was Chuck Taylor.
Yeah,
he came down in his little butler suit. I died. I was dying. And everything. Chuck Taylor.
I thought it was all right, and his reactions were good, but I want pre-produced shit. Like, this was not the way to introduce that on fucking TV, bro. You had a ton of opportunity to do really high level, good pre-produced stuff, and even to get it over
earlier in the night, him opening up the door for Miro in a sports car, and they're popping out and all that shit. I get what you're saying.
It killed me because they could have brought him out in that, but we didn't set it up with 2 or 3 sketches beforehand until we first saw him. So as good as he did, it was 40% value, bro, at best.
Well, man, tried his best, and I enjoyed it. But Silvio, what did you think?
I have faith. I mean, they're gonna do it. I agree with you. I was thinking the same thing. Like, man, I want to see him at Miro's house. I want to see this. I want to see that. They'll get to it. I'm praying they'll get to it. I thought Layla looked great in this match, and this is the best Penelope Ford performance I've seen. So I don't know if it's due to Layla being advanced behind her years and able to control Ford, or if it's something that they really went through in the back and got, solid, all the kinks ironed out. But solid performance. Layla did great. That deadlift German was dope. Ford did her part well. The dive itself, it was a bit out of place. It looked cool, of course, and it showed a different layer to her athleticism. My issue was more so that she bumped the 3 guys on the side of the ring with it than her actually doing the dive. I did like how as soon as she got back in the ring from that, Ford sneaks a shot in, and like Bobby the Brain Heenan, Kip held Layla's foot down so she couldn't kick out. So that's kind of giving Layla an out in the loss and keeping her strong.
He didn't though. That was the weird thing. Like, that was the weird thing. So she didn't really put her foot up on the rope, and then he did a swipe off the rope and not the hold down Heenan spot. And refs were like, or commentary was confused, like, what do you do there? I think that was the spot as you explained it, but that's not how it was executed on the heel.
Really? I have to watch it again.
Yeah, it got a little, but then again, her legs are only about that long. So, what might be out of position for somebody else. But Penelope Ford can go, man. I was like, this is these girls' time to shine it. And then at the end, it was all about the guys getting heat and the guys having business and not shining the girls. And they worked too hard in that match to not be the focus, in my opinion,
Should it have been like Miro or Kip had a match, and that's where we do the business with Chuck Taylor? And
yes.
Let women have their own thing.
Yeah, the whole thing is Chuck at ringside doing whatever Miro needs him to do, patting him down, rolling out, and fucking showing that relationship, not to tack on the end of this. That's why I'm saying I like all the business and I was excited for it, but it was all confused and thrown in a blender together instead of really spelled out the best creative choices possible.
The ending of the match or after the match where they make Chuck Taylor get in the ring and then yell at Orange Cassidy that, Miro is my new best friend now.
Yeah.
Right. I think it would have made better sense had Kip and Miro gone out to the crowd, grabbed Orange Cassidy, drug him back in the ring, and then, beat him down or made him sit in their holds. Chuck Taylor then has to say it to his face. It just felt very cheesy, like, you're not my friend anymore. Right? You know what I mean? It didn't feel like as impactful had they put Orange right in front of Chuck and made him say it to his face right there or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting hands on them. It should come later too, but I see what you're saying to close that distance. I think we just needed a bigger, you're not my friend anymore. And this wasn't the best choice either, but you're not my friend anymore. And we needed Orange Cassidy just to be like, and fucking walk away. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we're not friends.
He sold it pretty well, though. He looked a little emotional. He sold it.
What I'm saying. We don't want that. We don't. Orange Cassidy should have just been like, all right, fuck it, cool. I'll go find another friend. And leave him. And then we see Chuck's reaction of, oh shit, now I don't have any friends for real. I'm really locked down. That's how we separate it more. So when Orange comes back around, when Chuck's really beaten down, we can do it. Or Orange Cassidy's going to look for another friend, and Chuck turns heel and beats on Orange, and then we got something there too. But that, like I said, these choices were lukewarm.
The only thing I don't like about this angle is they said at some point during the match that Chuck is going to be his butler until the wedding on February 3rd. Today is January 21st. So we're only getting Chuck as a butler for, what is that, 13, 14 days? 2 weeks?
It would be a month, right? Well, that was last week.
I don't know if they specified, but it should be at least a month.
I mean, every indentured servitude I've ever and brought people into, it's at least a month. That's just standard contract.
At least?
Hopefully they prolong the wedding. Something happens. They got to do it weeks. Something. I want to see this butler angle actually get.
Yeah, right.
Just saying. You think you only get to work for Ben Hamin for a month? You're tripping.
A month. Well, that's standard initiation.
You're fucking locked in anyway. That being said, after that match, they go backstage. They showed Gallows, Anderson, and Kenny. Now, there was a quick segment earlier in the night where Callis, now after the interaction with the Bucks, has kind of like a black eye where he's oranged himself all up with the, with the purple and black on around his eye to make it look like he was beat up. And Kenny was like, who did this? We'll go after him. I was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So kind of led to what I thought this was, is it made it maybe Callis said it was Pentagon, because then we go backstage now with Anderson, Gallows, and Kenny Omega beating down Pentagon.
No, he snuck in Nick and Matt. He was trying to not say who it was. He was trying, don't worry about it, Kenny. I don't want you getting distracted. And he said something like, Nick and Matt just sometimes get, and then Omega goes, it was Nick and Matt. They did this to you.
Oh, okay. I missed that. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. That part. I was more distracted by the Donald Trump look. That's what we were looking at. We're like, wow, he got really orange in this scene. Don Callis did.
No, I like that. I like that line though. I caught that too. I thought that was smart play.
Right.
Well, in this scene, we see Anderson and Gallows beating down Pentagon. Kenny joins in, takes off his shoe, which I like this part, his little pointy shoe, and I like how he emphasized it, and that he was sticking it inside Pentagon's eye, or his mask eye hole. And then Don Callis is just standing there smiling.
Not a good year for lucha guys in their eyes, man. A lot going on.
Good year. All right. Anything else before we move to the main event and wrap this up?
Let's wrap it.
All right. Jericho MJF versus Sammy and Hagar. And first off, I love the fact that they paid Sammy Hagar the cameo.
So good.
It was so good that Perfect. They got him to do it.
Good. I mean, that's what they need to be doing. Those are the shot. Imagine if you get David Arquette to cut a promo on WWE, you get this person or that. Like, they're the best. They suck over there. They don't got to even say it. Like, dude, these are the shots that WWE will not do that they can, bro.
As I was watching, I went, I know Ben's going to be happy with this because they gave it to us. They didn't play to us stupid, and it was quick. It was done, and you'll go, oh, that was cool. You know what I mean? So, like, it was definitely a cool moment. I heard there's a brand new tag team, the best tag team out there, Sammy Hagar. So it was Good thing.
It's called naming it and grounding it. And now that we did it, all we needed was a fucking $60 Sammy Hagar cameo, and it's made. Cheapest creative line that there is, bro. You just got $1 million fucking worth of credibility for $100, $60 to $100 cameo. That is good stuff, dude.
Well, not surprisingly, as I was sitting there with Joe kind of outlined what he thought this was going to end. He's like, I think this is going to end with somehow Wardlow getting involved, causing some sort of distraction, and MJF will pick up the victory. And that is exactly what happened. Wardlow got on top of the apron. Guevara saw him, so he knocked him off by using MJF's body to push him down, like he pushed MJF into Wardlow. But then MJF was able to get out of it and kind of roll Guevara up into a pin, holding the tights. So MJF and Chris Jericho pick up the victory, and they will move forward now as the tag team for the Inner Circle. Chris Silvio, what did you think of this match?
I don't know if that means that they're the only ones that are now allowed to team, or they're the only ones that can go for the title. So we'll see where they go with that. Do you know?
I was going to say one more thing before you interject. There was a lot of spots in this match that didn't look the best. Jericho's lion salt looked like he might have gotten hurt there. Yeah, it looked like he might have gotten hurt there. There was a couple iffy spots here. One of it was pointed out to me. Sammy Guevara throwing kicks. They weren't landing some of the kicks, so that you could, or maybe the camera angle just it didn't register right. And I think there was a mess up of the shooting star press as well. That was pointed out to me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sammy
that's why I don't do shooting star presses and lion salts anymore. So I just took them out of my repertoire. I don't do them anymore.
It's a good choice. Sammy has accuracy issues with that shooting star. Every wrestler has to get to a point. I've taken plenty of moves out that I can't hit 99.9% of the time. So I got to move it. Sammy should probably do that with the shooting star, because every time he does it, you get different positioning, and he's so fucking athletic and good. He got enough shit to do. They did do a lot of spots and a lot of cool spots. Some of them didn't go off quite like they planned. Like you said, with Jericho, landing on his, that was a little scary. The second rope, it looked like it dipped a little bit, and, he rolled over his head. He still got the lion salt in, and he appeared to be fine after. But this might be the time to do kind of what Hamin and I were saying about doing the angle with, Jericho getting back down to business and, doing the training regime and, coming back leaner and meaner. It was predictable, and it should have been. MJF and Jericho should have won due to the story that they're telling. So they got to the end result with the winners that should have won, and they gave us some suspense in between. I thought Sammy was the star of this match. And there's just so much. I've been high on him since day one of the show, but there's so much we can do with Sammy. Once him and MJF finally blow off their thing, Sammy could be a made guy that they could use for many years to come, hopefully in a main event role. So there's a lot going on in this match, but we got the winner we should have, and I like the Inner Circle. I hope they don't rush to break them up too soon.
Things like this always worry me a little bit on paper, because you got a crew that's fighting each other that's heel, but they're going to wrestle like babies, so they're not striking on each other. Like, that's a little bit of confusion. And the botches were scary, to be honest with you, especially Jericho. I don't like to see that guy. To me, is one of my favorites of all time, so I definitely don't want to see him hurt. I respect for the way that he puts his money where his mouth is, man, and left WWE to go do this whole fucking thing. And that he's also a bona fide rock star. I'm done with the nudist in my mind entrances where we get to see Billy Gunn's kid marking out for his own camera time shot. You know what I mean? There's a lot more that he can fucking do. The guy can get a pen and a clipboard over. That's how good he is, bro. With a click of a pen, he has that audience in the palm of his hand. That is a master player, So I hope he isn't hurt. And he's great on commentary. There's 1,000 things we can do to keep him out of the ring while he's working on his body to come back, to stick it right in the NBA's ass and fucking have a big ha-ha on them. And then you do a very high-level feud with a James Harden, Steph Curry, whoever you want, something, LeBron, insult them all and go right at them on TNT. They'll get them there in the audience. They should also have their own football team there in the audience. They got a lot of opportunity to play with big name players in these games. We just got to get max value. And I'd like to see Jericho back in that unbelievable shape. And, 19 pounds of muscle mass in 3 weeks is not a task that's not, out of his realm.
It's definitely possible.
So
what do you think of Sammy in this one?
I think the kid's got money written all over him. Dude, like whether it's good looking baby face or, he's just so young right now. That's the thing. And I don't want to see young guys like that, like I didn't with you, punching their bump cards unnecessary, but he's already on TV. So now it's time to punch your bump card, but let's not get concussions and do what we can, because he can deliver as the lover boy, as the fucking smart ass, as the cool shortstop who's cool to everybody in high school as a baby face. I could see him as that. The guy who should be a dickhead, who's really not. You know what I mean? There's a lot of ways you could go with him in the next 5 to 10 years, baby and heel, if it's really sat down and road mapped out. And to be honest with you, he could leave wrestling in another year and fucking be on some TV show. And 10 years from now, he could be the next fucking Johnny Depp. He could be on a 21 Jump Street and be off to the fucking races if some casting director, John Favreau, likes him or something along those lines, dude. He's got all the looks, ability, and 2021 crossover of the Americanized Latino kid for a lot of fucking people to put money behind him if possible, dude.
I'd rather see him stay in wrestling than go off to Hollywood, but he definitely has the chops. He's got the little comedic timing. He ain't there yet. He's got lessons to learn. Sure. But you see naturally he has those instincts. And
unmolded clay is the best, man. Mm-hmm. That's what you want, right? That's what you want as a coach. You want someone with a limited potential who isn't hung up on themselves, who has the drive, or you want somebody who just has incredible drive and might not even have the body, but you can do more with that than anything else. I think he's got the drive, the look, and the fucking natural timing, bro. And that's what if you're a scout for NCAA Division I, that's what you're looking for as a coach when you're going to recruit people. They got it. It's just got to be harnessed the right way. Crafted.
Absolutely. Him and MJF, man, like people have said it, and we used to say, like, Jungle Boy and MJF will be the match 4 years from now. I think Sammy has snuck into that role, not taking anything away from Jungle, who I think has money written all over him as well. But I think Sammy will be one of the big baby faces there, while MJF's the main heel at some point.
Too sexy not to be. Can't not be.
If I'm Sammy Guevara, I'm hitting up Conan and saying, get me some novella acting auditions, because he was.
I'm sure he could get on there. I'm sure the kid can do whatever he wants. I just hope that his head's in the right spot where somebody's taking care of him, big brother him the right way.
Do a fucking novella on Dynamite. God, it would be hilarious. You know what I mean? Fucking have him do it. I
watched them do Christmas Story. I don't want to see them do anything else like that again. But that's your Light the Fuse AEW review recap for January the 20th of 2021. Do you guys know it today's 1/21/21? Whoa.
Yeah, 1-2-1-2-1-2-1.
Wow. What does that mean?
It means jab, cross, jab, cross, jab, cross, jab.
Get it.
Okay. Get it. Well, guys, you can check out my many different podcasts and stuff I produce. First off, you can check out brand new episode. New Force Order podcast will be out later today. I'm just got to finish editing that up, as well as a brand new episode of Patreon.com. Stevie Ray TV sits down with actor Scott Schwartz from The Christmas Story. You like that segue? As AEW wasn't able to necessarily do it well, but you can talk to the guy who actually acted in it. You can listen to him, and you can also call in to the show as Stevie goes live Monday through Thursday. So tonight, I believe he's got another guest on. I don't want to stooge it off yet because I don't want to ruin it, but I think it's Deborah McMichael. So check out tonight, twitch.tv/Stevie Ray TV. And of course, if you're a Patreon member, you'll get that next week as part of the Patreon drop. We've also got WCW's The Maestro is going to be on this week as well. Nice. That'll be out on Saturday on patreon.com/Stevie Ray TV. Of course, check out brand new episodes. Check My Bows. It's up right now. Finger bang, something you can do with your finger. It's on all respected podcast outlets, networks, as well as it's on our YouTube. So, Mr. Silvio, where can people, learn from you? What's going on with the Seidel Dojo?
Yeah, we got some big programs coming up at the dojo here. This spring, we're going to be beginning a new beginners class. So if you've never stepped foot in a wrestling ring and you want to learn how to do that and follow your
lived in
dream,
Florida, I would totally do it.
start with us in one of the best warm climates to live in with two of the best coaches around. So that'll be, I believe, late March. I'll fill you guys in on details. Just reach out to the Side Dojo page, or you can send me a message on Facebook Messenger if you'd like. We're also going to be doing a spring training camp for experienced wrestlers. This is going to be either early April or mid-March. We're still confirming the dates. It's a 1-week intense camp. No newbies here. You got to be able to go. We're going to bust your balls, teach you everything we can. Just think of baseball spring training. We're doing the wrestling version of that, and we're going to cap it off with a show at the dojo that we're going to stream as well. So great opportunity to learn for an entire week and get a match in with critique from both Seidel and myself, and maybe some special guests. So if you're interested in training with the best, just reach out to me, Chris Silvio, here on Facebook.
Yeah, man, that sounds awesome, dude. We'll definitely keep promoting that to try and get numbers up for both camps, rookies and vets, man. I love that shit. He's a rookie and a vet, baby. And he's not wrong. He's never wrong. He's my guy. He's Don Silvio. He lets old hacker know what's up, but sometimes I got to scratch back. But I love them all the same. And we'll be keeping it rocking here all week long. Again, we saw some new subscriptions to Stevie Ray TV. Matt, you just been kicking ass all the way over there. Patreon.com/Hamin Media Group as well. Rip Rogers podcast, Man Beast out there recording that right now. Man, I'm going to talk to Damian Sandow and April Hunter as well tonight, and maybe even another guest. And tomorrow I meet with Ray to work on Big Vito brand. It's on and popping here, man. I don't know what else to tell you. 2021 is crazy-ish for Hamin Media Group out of the gate, and it's all hands on deck, all great hosts, super producers, community organizers, propaganda artists, video producers, everybody sharing it and helping us book guests. There's a lot of that going on too, because it's who you want to see. It's your open platform as we blow up the spot here, hackerhamin.podbean.com, infidels, and we light the fuse. Yalla.
Oh, Don Silvio. Oh, Don Silvio.